Broadcasting live from the mixed-up world of Hyrule, this is the Link to the Past Randomizer Overworld Glitches Tournament. Hello, everybody. My name is Dr. Bobtastic, and joining me today on commentary is Baliame. How you doing?
Doing well, thank you. Yeah, I'm excited for this race. Absolutely, I'm rooting for these two guys.
All right. So both of these runners are well known in the community and pretty well versed in their overworld glitches. It's going to be some pretty interesting run here. For those of you not familiar with the overworld glitches category, this is a different animal.
We are going to be breaking Hyrule in half, and I mean that quite literally.
Yeah. So you know how Sphere 1 is a thing? Like the things you can access with the first stuff you have?
We'd like to call that Sphere 0, I think, but okay.
Whatever. There's different ways of talking about it. But that sphere, so to speak, is huge in overworld glitches. It's humongous. For example, all of Death Mountain, with the exception of potentially part of what's it called? Tower of Hera, is in the logic from the get-go.
Yep, and also the front of Desert Palace, as well as most of the Mire spots, I believe.
Yep. So like the Graveyard Ledge, other places like that. Tons of places. Oh, we've got a book!
Nice start. Although, that's not required for Desert, as we just mentioned in Overworld Glitches.
You can absolutely clip into Desert early. Looks like Ultyma might be heading over toward Houlihan here.
Yep, that is the classic setup for the Houlihan room. He will be collecting 250 rupees there. It's a more common opener in Key Saturday, but in Overworld Glitches, it's not a bad thing since Zora is also part of Sphere 0. Now we have Tairr checking out the Lost Woods.
Alright, so that's 50 rupees in the Lost Woods. We get a big heart from Link's house, and Ultyma will be heading over towards Kakariko from the southwest, though I think we'll probably get a check of the Grove Ledge Cave first. And Ultyma is going to go ahead and grab some bombs here. And so we see our first example of a boot clip here.
Yep.
From Ultyma.
That is clipping 8 pixels into a diagonal that's pointing downwards, and then holding into the slope, causing you to teleport downwards about half the screen. Very handy for placing yourself on top of cliffs.
Yep. If you do 7 pixels instead, you end up teleporting upwards, I believe. And a 9th pixel will just have you jump off into the top left direction. Now it looks like Ultyma might be checking the race game. We are going to go ahead and hold off on clipping into Desert for now, because we've got a large section of Kakariko Village to check.
So this is actually very interesting. It might already cause some routing divergence, because we're likely to see Tairr actually hit up Desert, since he's heading southwards, whereas Ultyma is heading northwards, so he's probably going to clip up to Death Mountain.
Yeah, so there's a lot of overworld glitches in this. In addition, some of the minor glitches that you're used to seeing in the normal randomizer can be accounted for in this logic, such as fake flippers and other assorted glitches that people like to use.
Well, interestingly, due to an oversight in V29, the Waterfall Fairy Cave, despite accessible with water walking, is not actually in the logic without Moonpearl. Oh, and there's our first sword in the Kakariko Well. Sword is a very useful tool, either that or Hookshot, because spin speed allows you to clip through certain joints in diagonal and horizontal cliffs.
Yeah, spin speed makes a lot of clips a lot easier early on. There's a Hera clip that's pretty easy to set up with spin speed, and a little harder to set up with just boots. We got flippers inside Blind's Hut as well, so that's going to take away the need for the fake ones.
It's also very inconvenient, because now shallow water actually interrupts your water walking. I actually hate early flippers due to this exact reason, is that it becomes slower to check the Zora area. Also have the Bombos medallion. Medallions are half as important here as in non-glitch modes, because we only need the Mire medallion.
Right. You can clip into Turtle Rock, and that clip is free.
Right. Even then, with the bad key layout, the logic might actually expect you to enter through the front, but if you have a mirror, you can actually mirror wrap all the way to Laser Bridge. Right? Tairr does not go into Desert, apparently. Have we had a map check from these races yet?
Not that I've seen.
Alright. Tairr is going to do a spin speed clip to actually get to the hobo faster. See if he gets it. There we go. Hobo's very free in this mode. If you have the flippers, you can do that. If you don't, you can still do an alternative clip that lets you fake flipper just from the cliffs right next to the screen. Looks like Ultyma's also opting to go to Lake Hylia through the clipping route.
You can also do a trick in that particular position to just get onto the island without anything, if I'm not mistaken.
That is correct. If you are correctly positioned below or like on the screen transition line, you can actually get a state called auto walk, which will basically screen transition you down and walk you half a screen downwards. And that's exactly enough to get to Lake Hylia. Or the Hylia Island, sorry.
Unfortunately, it's not that big a deal today. Alright, so heading over to the mini Moldorm cave, just as always. That's still going to be several items, even in this overworld glitch mode. You want to hit it up pretty early.
It's actually one of the beauties of overworld glitches right here.
Tairr just getting dodged by the
Yeah, those mini Moldoms don't like bombs. They'll just walk away. It's actually one of the interesting things about the overworld glitch modes. Again, Ultyma was basically checking Sphere 0, still. But it looks like our races are going to be tied up in checking the Southern Light World. And since we're kind of short on groupies right now, I wonder if they're just going to go elsewhere after finishing up Ice Rod Cave.
Who knows? I mean, as always, Eastern Palace is in play, but, you know, there's our map check. I saw a crystal number 1 on Eastern, and I saw number 5 over at Desert. I didn't quite see what was up at Hera, but I think it was also a crystal.
It is actually crystal number 7. Does indeed look like Tairr is opting to clear the Eastern Palace area. He is dodging one of the hardest questions of Overworld glitch modes. When do you route in Sahasra? Well, Tairr says 9 minutes in, like it's supposed to be.
Alright, so we've got pieces of heart and bombs in the back of Sahasrah's closet. That's all for today.
Not even opting to go check Eastern, and that's probably a good decision from him since it is a crystal and he cannot clear it.
Alright, so I think Tairr is going to be going for the Death Mountain Ascent here.
That is right, he is getting into position. Meanwhile, Ultyma is traversing the desert area.
So we're doing it from this screen. I've seen 2 different versions of the Death Mountain Ascent. One coming from this screen and the other coming from the screen above.
There's actually 4 variants that I can name right now. Yes, this is the classic Death Mountain Ascent. The one that happens from the screen above is the squirreless, because you get put to the top of the Death Mountain and you can avoid all this mess.
And I think you end that one sort of by going into Hera, right?
Yes, you reset your screen essentially. As you can see, when you do screen wrapping glitches, your screen will be horribly misaligned. Your collision doesn't match, and you actually risk hard locking on a bad transition. But entering something... Oh, the fire rod.
So that means Desert is completable.
That is a huge find.
You do not need the Power Glove to finish Desert in Overworld glitches, because you can click onto the ledge above and jump down in front of the Desert entrance.
There's also a hop you can do if you exit through the left. That allows you to simply teleport between the rocks. I actually don't think it's a teleport. I think it's just a hop.
Interesting. I'll have to see when that happens here. So we've got a Master Sword in Tower of Hera as well. So that's another sword. And a bottle on the desert ledge.
Interesting. I want to see if Ultyma is going to use a lot of bottle glitches. And that's, I believe, 3 swords found already.
Yep.
So as I was saying, when your screen is wrapped like that, there are certain transitions that you cannot actually do because you get into a hard lock, and it is potential for losing progress on the spot. You cannot actually save and quit while you're hard locked in that spot. It's an infinite scrolling, infinite walk. It actually looks quite funny. It feels less funny when it happens to you.
Yeah, that's why if you're, unaccustomed to some of these things, it helps to go ahead and save before you attempt any of these major glitches, so you can reset the console and not be completely out all of your progress. And Ultyma clips onto the desert ledge. I think he went down one tile too early.
Yes, he did, and he doesn't appear to know about the hop, so he's going to retry it or maybe just abandon the plan. Meanwhile, Tairr is presenting us a textbook Morton fight.
So, what is this hop glitch you're talking about, and how does it work?
So when you clip a certain distance into cliffs, you'll just get onto a spot where you jump off as if you were jumping off a ledge. And that has weird sort of effects. If you feel a Hera clip, for example, you can actually see one of them. It'll just throw you to the side.
Oh, right. So when you clip too far is
Yep.
a thing. Okay. That makes sense.
The Cane of Somaria is in Spectacle Rock Cave.
Well, there we go. Now, if this was no logic, we could have a lot more fun with that cane, but I think we're okay.
We have the whole starter kit. We have the bottle. We have the cane. I can imagine some people more versed in underworld glitches would start getting temptations at this point.
Absolutely. Tairr's gonna gonna attempt the bomb jump there. It's a little tricky to get on just the right pixel to make it happen.
It is an extremely tight lineup for that bomb jump.
Yeah, so Ultyma and Tairr both doing the same version of the Death Mountain Ascent, and Ultima's about to do the Hera clip. The Hera clip is as free as it looks. You get spin speed, you walk into that corner, and then you walk right and down for a bit, and you're good, and then go up.
Most of the time, if you spawn in the mountain cave, you will actually perform the Hera clip, so it's not unheard of that you'll enter Hera in a single seed about 10 times.
Alright, so Tairr is now doing the East Death Mountain clip here, and this one is a little finicky. You've got to set up a downward teleport, and then sort of rock back and forth on the controller to move yourself up the mountain.
I believe you need to perform about 4 half-circle motions on your D-pad to actually struggle your way up. Seems like he's having a little trouble with it, which is not surprising. Right-side clips are actually much more inconvenient than left-side ones, because
Yes.
you can only clip 1 pixel at a time, due to how movement works in the Link to the Past.
Right, because when you start moving left, you'll go 2 pixels first, and then 1 pixel after that. But when you start moving right, you'll go 1 pixel first, then 2. It's called floating point rounding.
That's right. So that unfortunately means you have to perform 9 consecutive dash buffers.
Ooh, Tairr just did an upward teleport.
I'd say... Oh, he actually got into Hera. No.
He got into the old man's cave.
He didn't... No, even worse. He got into that middle cave that I have no name for. Meanwhile, Ultyma clearing Hera. So what actually happened to Tairr is he got thrown because the game just didn't know what to do with him. And that can have all sorts of weird results. You'll actually end up close to where it throws you, but the screen doesn't follow you.
Yeah, that's the Upper Norfair entrance.
Oh, he's actually doing 1 less clip. He is doing an upwards teleport.
Yeah, it's 1 more. He needs 1 more pixel.
He is going to no pound at that state, as you probably should if that happens to you and you made any progress. Since throws like that are actually very prone to hardlock you.
Alright, so Tairr is now headed down to the South Shore area. We've already seen a check on the dam, so it looks like Tairr might be heading to get that fire rod out of desert.
Yep, and I'm interested to see if he finishes desert right afterwards. Meanwhile, Ultyma is heading for his Ether tablet check, and he's probably going to also attempt to clip over to East Death Mountain afterwards.
That does seem reasonable.
this point, we are starting to run low on locations that could potentially hold the moon pearl. So I think East Death Mountain in general right now is probably the most likely play to get close to you. Get that close to you. But we could see some shenanigans if one of them happened to pick up a Mire, for example. We are in bunny territory.
Oh, yeah. You could get down Death Mountain as a bunny and start exploring the overworld, and that's a thing. And I think all of the Super Bunny glitches are in Logic as well, so that's fun.
Not all of them. Specifically, YBAing with a blue potion in the overworld gives you a fake flute, and then that, if you do that in the Dark World, you actually gain Super Bunny state with it.
Oh, okay.
That is probably the biggest deal that's not actually in the Logic, because that would actually allow you to do Thieves Town.
Oh, there's our mirror!
Oh, this just got interesting.
Yeah, the Overworld YBA, you basically use some sort of potion on a screen transition, right? Or something like that?
You use the potion as on the same frame as you enter the transition, and that will trigger a thing depending on what type of potion you use.
Is that the same frame that you use for the mirror thing?
For the mirror reps? Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
It's in essence, it's the same thing as doing a clip, right? You need to hold a direction and Y at the same time. Except for a clip, obviously you use A instead of Y because you're dash buffering. Alright, it looks like Ultyma's finally going to get his uncle check-in. And Tairr left the desert area. Did he get the Bombos tablet? I missed that.
I don't know if he got Bombos, but I know he got the fire rod, so that's
Chat was pointing out earlier that both of the racers passed by the desert area without checking the tablet.
Yeah, there is a clip for that as well, and it's not that difficult as far as I know.
It's a standard teleport.
Alright, Ultyma is going for the escape section.
Meanwhile, Tairr is catching up in the zone area.
So we've now got our third sword for both players. Now the clip to Pyramid Fairy is the one I've not figured out how to do yet.
So it's one of the more convoluted setups, but what it involves is wrapping around Death Mountain using a Hera clip, and that actually places your camera one screen down from Death Mountain. And as you descend, or sorry, not the camera, your like implied location in the game. It's actually hard to describe what it is, but the game doesn't actually match up your visible location with where the mirror portal will end up. So if you actually travel down after a Hera clip from the top of Death Mountain, you will place Darkworld portals in the Hyrule Castle courtyard if you mirror. And if you place it in the correct location, you can actually clip into the Pyramid Fairy by taking the portal.
Very nice.
It is a more extreme variant of descending Death Mountain with the mirror. Right? Looks like Tairr's headed back to Death Mountain, and Ultyma is doing, I believe, the Castle Dark Sewers.
Looks like it. Now, despite the greater number of things that are still in logic, dark rooms still are not. So that's something you're not required to do.
That is right. I do not believe there is actually a mode that has a logic and expects you to do dark rooms. All right. So that means Tairr is headed over to East F Mountain and is also about to get his mirror.
Uh-oh.
That is fine, he can still walk back out. There's no actual wall between the clouds there, it's weird.
Alright, I was worried for a second there, but it looks like we're fine.
If you need to quickly get from East F Mountain to West F Mountain, you can actually spin speed clip through a cliff. You'll land on those clouds and then you just walk back out of bounds. It looks like Ultyma picked up a small key because he seems to be heading all the way to the back of Escape. Of course, he still has to find our friend, the key rat in the dark.
The true final boss of Escape.
It may or may not have caused me to actually just abandon the plan in the past.
Ah, but Ultyma is using that fire rod.
He could also try just bombosing the room and finding where the rat died. Oh, he found the torch.
And we've got half magic in the back of Escape for Ultyma, and that's about it.
Tairr picking up his mirror. And also clearing the top a bit, as expected.
Alright, so it looks like Ultyma is now going to head over toward the back of Desert. Try that Desert clip again.
He is doing the two-step ascent up to Desert. Desert is one of those weird beasts to clip into because none of the clips that actually lead into Desert are standard. They're all just 1 pixel off for some reason. Unfortunately, he seems to have failed again.
Yeah, he needs to go on like the last possible pixel from that ledge there to get to the point where you can get into the back of Desert.
There
so
are
Tairr now going into Eastern. There's a hammer.
Wow. There is the hammer. Although logically speaking, the hammer doesn't do a whole lot for them right now.
Yeah, that is true.
Looks like Ultyma is also going to dip into Eastern Palace. Yes, he is.
Isn't there some way we could get into Ganon's Tower right now?
Ganon's Tower is not in the logic without the pearl. You'd actually need to do select buffer or like 1 frame clips, which are very hard to like consistently pull off if you're not very well versed in the mode yet. Part of the reason why there are early boots is that so you don't have to do the 1 frame clips and it still can be competitive in the mode.
Well, alright then.
Ultyma fetching that hammer as well. It is interesting that both of these races actually decided to go into Eastern Palace at this point. The Mire actually opens up a fair few options, not particularly appealing, but with the Mire, the entirety of Skull Woods is actually in the logic. And also the C-shaped house and the treasure chest game. And that's without the pearl.
Yeah, it could be that our gloves are there, you know? Yeah, once you're in a dungeon, none of these major glitches are really allowed. So no clipping through dungeon walls, or cave walls for that matter. Anywhere that's considered an underworld location, we still do not allow in this mode.
And it's actually interesting because the overworld glitches, while they look broken, hardly even scratch the surface of how much you can break the game in the underworld.
Oh yeah, you can break the. You can beat the game in a minute and a half.
Yep, the good old exploration glitch from Hyrule Castle to the Triforce Room. Ooh, Ted, cutting that close. No, don't move down. Oh, good. That is a wonky screen transition between desert and the mainland there, and if he actually moves into the broken transition, I believe he will hardlock.
Gross.
Looks like Tairr is trying to get to the tablet, but from that spot, a spin speed clip isn't going to help him. Meanwhile, Ultyma doing the Graveyard Ledge descent from Death Mountain. But unfortunately, a big 20.
So, I mean, I have to ask the obvious question: how did Ultyma end up? Oh wait, no, that is in the Light World. I was like, how did he end up in there as a person? And I was like, oh right, that is Light World.
That is Light World.
And so, by the obvious question, I mean a question that only someone as new to this as me would ask.
There's a whole lot of palette things going on, especially when you go from Death Mountain to the mainland, and that may actually be very confusing.
Alright, so a heart container for Ultyma from the Sick Kid. Tairr was attempting to clip to the Bombos tablet. Looks like we had some issues there.
Yep, he does appear to be abandoning that plan, and he will follow Ultyma's footsteps into Hyrule Castle.
And Ultyma is going for this desert clip one more time.
Think he's not to the right. There we go.
There he goes.
Yes, that should be correct.
And we're in.
I do not actually recall at this point. Did we see both items out of Desert Palace?
I don't remember. I know we got the fire rod, but that's all I can remember.
I cannot help but think Ultyma's persistence to actually get to Lammo points at another item still being in here, but could be wrong. Seems like he has an extra small key too, so he skipped the right side?
Interesting.
Maybe he didn't have a weapon to deal with the tentacles.
Yeah, it's entirely possible. No. I don't think Desert Palace is logically glove-locked.
No, it is not.
Not in Overworld glitches.
Alright, blink and you miss it. He's done with Lammolas. But unfortunately, it's only the map. And now he's stuck between the rocks without gloves, so he will have to save and quit out of the game.
Yep.
Meanwhile, Tairr seems to be setting up a death warp, but then he realizes he has the Mire. Ultyma did a Hera clip and then save and quit out, which tells me he probably didn't want to reset his camera there, so I think we're about to see the Pyramid Fairy clip here.
Oh, interesting.
Yep, it's a Pyramid Fairy clip. He is going to take the Darkwood portal. That is there. Just believe me, it's there. Descend Death Mountain until the collision actually matches, and then moves to a very specific spot and mirrors. Oh no, he's actually going to clip into Ganon's tower, I think. Is he? No, he's... I'm actually not sure what he's up to right now. I think this might be just a good old Death Mountain descent then, done in a weird spot. Well, either that, or he is actually going to land in Ganon's tower if he does that. Oh yes, he is. He is attempting a weirder clip that is not actually in the logic. So if you clip in a particular distance and then do the right inputs, then you can get into the spot where if you hold the correct inputs, you will land on the stairs of Ganon's tower.
I just went and confirmed in the logic that the gloves are not required for Landmolas. But ooh, there's
Looks like
an auto walk DMD there.
Yep, but that is not what he intended to do. He was attempting a graveyard ledge clip, but if you start from the incorrect pixel and head too much downwards, you will land in a spot where you will auto walk down instead of landing on top as Ultyma did. Ooh, will he get it? No. He gets kicked out. As some of the experts in the chat point out, you have to one frame when you get to the correct Y pixel, I believe. because you won't be able to clip far enough in to actually go into Ganon's tower.
So, could you explain what is meant by one frame clip there?
So essentially you want to be holding the correct input for a single frame and then release it, because if you move for more than a single frame, the game will just decide, well, you're actually not supposed to be here, so you'll be kicked out. Ouch. Ultyma getting thrown, that definitely doesn't look correct.
Alright, so Tairr is trying to figure out what he needs to get done.
Meanwhile, it looks like Ultyma has Death Mountain descended in the Dark World. He is now attempting to fix his... Oh no, he's gone into Sanctuary. Yeah, he is attempting to fix his camera location. And now he's in the Dark World mainland as a bunny.
Well, there you go.
This is one of the more convoluted ways I've seen bunny Death Mountain descend, but I like it.
Yeah. I mean, I think the classic DMD works as a bunny, right?
The classic...
one off of the bridge?
The classic mirror clip DMD, yes, it does. That is what the logic intends you to do as well. And now he's attempting a mirror super bunny state, which you get by moving into a building on the same frame as you use the mirror. It's almost like a mirror wrap, except you do it into a building. If you do it correctly, you get Super Bunny inside the building, and actually that puts 2 of the chests in the logic.
Yeah. I call it the classic DMD because I remember doing it when I was like 12.
This is a very long-standing game.
Yeah, so you definitely want to get a Super Bunny coming into the chess game. One thing you can do with the chess game, if you don't have Super Bunny, is you can talk to the guy and pay him money, but you still can't open the chest.
It is a great way to get rid of all of your rupees. Alright, it looks like the Village of Outcasts isn't actually going to be the answer. Alright, Ultyma's also going to sink some money into the digging game, which he unfortunately cannot do as a bunny. But the guy will take your rupees for it.
I'm not sure what he was trying to do there.
I think he was just hoping to get Super Bunny state where he can dig.
Okay.
So let's talk logic, because there's not a whole lot left that the game could expect you to do. I believe Skull Woods and Turtle Rock are at least partly open right now, as well as Super Bunny Cave. What else is there that we haven't seen yet?
Well, we've got Tairr trying to do Bombos tablets, so this will give us something. Yeah, looks like we got it.
That is my second favorite spot to actually clip up there. There's a left side clip that you can do as well, which is left side, so it's much more convenient. But it accomplishes the job.
I didn't know there was a left side clip to get up there, but nice to know. But we did get the Cane of Burna there from the Bombos tablet, so it's not really that important, unless, of course, we acquire some gloves to access Spike Cave.
Or alternatively, if the lamp happens to turn up, there's a possibility of Laser Bridge entering the logic with that, Kane, if I'm not mistaken.
Might I ask what lamp has to do with it? Oh, you have to actually be able to get there. Right.
There is a dark room in Turtle Rock that you're not supposed to complete in the dark.
Yeah, and the mirror jump clip from the top of Turtle Rock is not in the logic, right?
It is actually, which can place the Moonpole as far as the Laser Bridge, potentially. I have found the Moonpole in T-Rock before, so at least it is partly in the logic.
Yeah, you can absolutely clip onto the top of Turtle Rock.
Yep, you can enter the Dark World at the Turtle Rock portal.
Oh, there's that left side clip you were talking about from Ultyma. And
Nice.
Tairr taking a death here.
Unfortunately, clipping at the bottom of Lightwell Death Mountain is very stressful because you have cabbages coming down on you, ruining your day all day.
Yeah. I have a hard enough time hitting two buttons for the same frame at the same time.
It does look like he is attempting to clip the Graveyard Ledge using the Swordless method. But he needs to hold up, I believe, as he's landing.
Aww. Alright, so Ultyma heading down Death Mountain here in the Dark World.
Yep. Ultyma is doing a mirror clip now, which... Alright, so basically you place your Dark World portal as close as you can to this bridge, and then move 1 pixel to the right. And then you place your Dark World portal again, and then you move as far right as you can to trigger...
Really back in. Yeah.
Yep, and it will pull you back in, and you will actually clip into the cliff. Now, he is walking around out of bounds, and he is trying to find the correct spot, and I believe he has it. Now, he needs to do another mirror clip here, and it will throw him, right? Don't get thrown. Nice. So, as soon as he hits down after entering the Dark World here, he will be thrown onto East Death Mountain in the dark.
And there you go. That's how you get up to East Death Mountain.
He could have taken the alternate route of taking the Light World clip over to East Death Mountain, and then, or even just hammering down the pegs, and then entering Dark World on top of T-Rock.
Now we are in the Super Bunny Cave, so called because you can open these chests as a bunny just by falling down the hole. Very, very quick thing to do here.
This is one of the easiest spots in the game to actually get Super Bunny, because you will be falling down holes.
We've got a red rupee and more bomb upgrades, so nothing great yet.
Let's see if he actually decides to take this into Turtle Rock.
Yeah, now clipping into Turtle Rock as a bunny is not free.
It is.
No,
It is.
It's kind of free.
It is actually pretty free. All you have to do is line up at the ledge here, right?
Yeah, the mirror is the... Oh no, he's not doing it.
Yep, you line up at the edge, you place a Dark World portal, and then you just walk to the edge where you would normally hop into Spiral Cave. And then you get more back to the Dark World, and you don't actually bonk back into the Light World.
Yeah. I forgot about the mirror I thought you would have to clip somehow without the mirror, and I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. That's the only thing you can use as a bunny. What am I talking about?
It looks like he is instead opting to descend the fountain once more.
Is he going to be attempting that GT clip again?
I think so.
We've all been told that's not working here.
It did look a bit like he was trying to one-frame it there. He gets back into the dark pool, but fortunately he actually bonks. But now he's too high up, so he'll have to retry. To clarify on what is actually open in the logic. Oh, he got it! Nice. This is most certainly not in the logic, but you can certainly do this. You just have to find an enemy that kills you, and your respawn is Link. And this actually neatly ties into what is open. Whatever you can walk into as a bunny would be open right now, so that would be Skullwoods and Turtle Rock. All other dungeons not actually in the logic, but the entire Overworld Glitches mode allows for sequence break that lets you complete the entire game pearlless.
We've got Quake and a small key over here on the right side. I'm going to use that Cane of Somaria to check some more of that right side.
Catch me up because I'm not clear on this. Are we playing the Ganon Tower Big Key game in this mode?
I don't know. It's a little bit weird to do so because you're going to enter GT probably multiple times. Yeah, I don't think we're doing the Ganon Tower Big Key game.
It is also one of the modes where you are tempted to check out Tairr Room, which is a very weird thing to say, but it is something that happens.
Yeah, Tairr Room is all, certainly something you can do. Interestingly enough, with Ice Rod.
That might be relevant.
We don't know if Turtle Rock is required, but it is very possible that you could need to use that.
We haven't gotten a Dark World map check yet, but we'll find out how much it's required. I have this feeling that it was too easy, and it's probably not.
I believe that Bunny Revival is in logic, it's just that the clip into Ganon's Tower without the Moon Pearl is not in logic.
That is correct. So, Trinex definitely never in the logic here. He cannot have the Moon Pearl.
There's our lamp as well over on the east side of GT. So that tells us that we're going to find the Moon Pearl before we need to do any dark rooms.
I mean, realistically speaking, it's probably just chilling in the chain jump room.
Yeah, that's probably right. Now, interestingly enough, with bomb jumps, you can also clear this entire left side of GT without the hookshot.
Yep, and I believe you only need 2 of them. One here to jump into the Stalfos room, and then one more to jump across the gap in the room with the 4 fire snakes.
Yep, that is correct. These are bomb jumps I learned for entrance shuffle.
That's where I know them as well from. It looks like Stalfos room is just 2 small keys. That's actually fairly normal in overworld glitches. Stalfos room is generally a lot of keys and not that much value. Interesting fact about Ganon's Tower in this mode is that there exists a pre-fill of sort of junk items in normal modes that is not present in glitch modes. So Ganon's Tower on average has a higher value.
Right. So if you're a fan of full clearing GT, this is the mode for you.
It is a concentrated location for 27 total chests. It's not all that bad of a deal. It looks like Tairr is opting to do something different than the ledge clip now. He is checking the Darkhold map, Ice Palace, Misery Mire, and Thieves Town being pendants.
It looked like the other 5-6 crystal was Palace of Darkness.
Which is actually irrelevant.
Yeah, you don't need 5 and 6 to reach Pyramid Fairy in this, as long as you have the mirror.
Looks like Ultyma is actually trying to do a Sveg hover, but it turns out he's not Andy.
Eh. So the hover thing is difficult. I'll give you that. It's not impossible.
I have attempted it many times and then I realize my fingers don't work in the appropriate way for that. I'll just leave it at only cheaters do that.
Nah, that's a little much.
What I mean to say is, it's a very, very, very difficult trick indeed to pull off. But occasionally it can actually save you massive amounts of time. For example, if Swamp is not required in this mode, then you might not even ever need the Hookshot.
So there is our big key for Ganon's Tower on the bottom right of the randomizer room. The great thing about this mode, we'll probably see a Ganon's Tower big chest.
Not only that, you may actually venture into the top of Ganon's Tower looking for progression.
Yep. We won't do that until we have the bow, because that's still going to be required. But other than that, it's going to be pretty neat. ₹300 in Bob's chest as we go say hi to the Ice Armos.
And this is a fairly common sight as well. We're going to be doing Ice Armos without the bow. What is your second favorite thing to kill Ice Armos with? Because I know bow is the first.
Well, Ultyma's got my second favorite thing to kill the Ice Armos with, but he's not using it. It's the Cane of Burna.
Burna is a hilarious sight on this boss. Also, fairly efficient.
Yeah, especially if you wait till they all come into the center, you can hit them all at once.
Right, it looks like he is onto the final phase. He is going to be doing a stagger lock. He is very careful not to actually poke, because that severely lowers his damage.
And that's going to do it for all of the normal chests that you normally check. We still have the big chest that we can look at, and that will do it for the entirety of Ganon's Tower that we can access at the moment.
And we are about to see the 23rd
Oh,
test,
the
and it's the
bow!
bow! Wow.
What?
That is an amazing place to find it. He is going to take it right upstairs, and well, he'll have to hover after Moldon too. Of course, there are 3 more chests up there that could potentially hold the hookshot.
Wow, having the bow in the Ganon's Tower big chest is just kind of huge.
He could have actually had that for the Ice Armors fight, because I believe you can walk back from the big chest room to the big room where you jump into
if
the
you
fight.
come in from that south door, I believe you can.
Chad is correcting me, saying upstairs Cheaty cannot have hookshot, because yeah, that is absolutely right. The big key was indeed hookshot locked, so we will not see a hookshot at the top of Ganon's Tower.
The rando room is hookshot locked by the logic, as is the Stalfos room and the fire snake room. And we know 100% that the Moon Pearl will not be behind this bow either.
We've done a very good job of narrowing it down.
Yep. And with the knowledge of her crystals, with Swamp Palace being a crystal, I think the Moon Pearl is definitely required for this run. Because you can't really do much in there without the Moon Pearl.
Yes, you actually can. There is a setup that allows you to get 0 HP. Which sounds weird, but in a 0 HP state, you're not actually technically dead, because the game never checks for it. So you can jump into the water in Swamp Palace, and the game will realize, oh, you should have died, and will respawn and will kill you. Well, then you can save and continue as Link.
Oh, wow.
That is actually classified as a minor glitch.
Now, I imagine that's not accounted for by the logic.
No, it is not. It is absolutely not.
It sounds particularly difficult to set up.
The setup involves being hit by a bomb on the exact last frame, or being hit by any damage that kills you on the exact last frame of you falling into a hole that transitions you into the underworld. Sorry.
Oh, wow. So that's a real interesting setup there. And, of course, involves relying on enemy RNG to get the job done.
That is also not true. It has been calculated. There is an exact way to set it up. If you do a bomb dash and then in a very specific spot next to the ferry drop, and slash once and then move into the hole, the bomb will explode on the exact correct frame.
Oh, so you can do this 0 HP glitch before you head to the Dark World.
Yes.
And then just descend somehow without touching the water, because if you touch your water, it'll kill you.
And you also cannot be hit by enemies, because that will also kill you.
My goodness, that sounds like a giant pain. Well, there's a red male over in Skull Woods.
To respond to the chat, Skull Woods is not only in the logic because of the fall. In fact, if you enter any of Skull Woods' doors, you should be able to get yourself killed, which will respawn you as Link, using the Dungeon Bunny Revival minor glitch.
Right, and now Tairr, although it looks like he might be in the Dark World, he's actually in the Light World.
He is now in the Light World. The Overworld glitches mode doesn't actually patch the fake world glitch that occurs if you die in a Dark World dungeon. Ooh, Ultima's. Ooh, he actually made it a bit out.
He is attempting the hover, and I think he can get quite a ways. He accidentally hit the X button there, but manages to pull it off and makes it across. Well done.
Wow. Amazing.
That is not a
But-
bomb jumpable gap. So yeah, that's the only way to do it.
At the same time, did he not pick up the validation chest item?
Well, that's the thing. I mean, the thing is, if you kill Moldorm and do that, and you fail the hover, you gotta kill him again if you want the item.
It is a decision that could come back to haunt him, though. Is it?
Maybe. It's unlikely, though, because, we know that all of this stuff is locked behind the Moon Pearl in the logic.
And also the Hookshot.
Yeah, so there's a lot of stuff that may not be that impressive yet.
But in theory, you could get mitts from that chest. If they would be hard required. No, they're actually never going to be hard required if you know the mirror wraps. Alright, so Ultyma has defeated Aghanim 2, which means he has opened the way to Ganon, but he cannot actually defeat Ganon yet. Because you will need the 7 crystals for him not to become invincible in the last phase.
Right, very true.
But in doing that, he actually gained Link State, which will last until he enters and exits the Underworld.
Interesting. So this is a one-time only link glitch here.
There are a few ways you can do it. If you manage to gain Super Bunny State in the Dark Overworld, and then you pull on a pullable thing, such as like a tree or the entrance to Skullwoods, it will actually just spawn you as Link because it doesn't know what to do with you. But now he is checking Hype Cave and gets the shovel from the guy. And altogether, not much.
All right, so we can see what the shovel has to offer today.
And now he has exited the Underworld, which means he is now a bunny again.
So I
he
get the
doesn't-
I get the feeling you're right that the Moon Pearl probably is chilling in the Chain Chomp room.
Right, I don't know if Tairr actually found both items in Skullwoods. He definitely didn't pick up the pearl, so T-Rock is pretty much our last option here.
The Chain Chomp room really doesn't require any keys or anything to access in the logic.
No, it doesn't, and that is why it's one of the more common places that you'll find the pearl in Turtle Rock, because any other chest would require optimal key layout. Oh yes, and as Chet points out, Pyramid Ferry has also not been checked yet. But the pyramid has been. It looks like Ultyma's committing to the Skullwoods play as well. And Tairr's going back as well. I think he may not have realized he was in the fake Dark World. Fake Dark World and fake Light World only last until you transition off of the Overworld screen, and then you'll enter the real opposite world, the world you're actually in according to the game. Both of them dying to things in Skullwoods, which is a required step here. They are gaining Link State by dying here, but since they haven't beaten Aghanim yet, this will also put them in the fake Dark World.
Yep, Tairr's going to have that situation again.
I don't think he realized yet.
Now you can get to the back of Skull Woods in this state because you don't get transitioned back to the the light world stuff until you leave the overworld screen you're currently on.
Yep.
So yeah, once you are in Link state out in the overworld like that, you can in fact go to the back of Skull Woods, light it on fire, and do what you need to do. Looks like Tairr is trying to do some Mire clip here.
He is, but he's also in the light world right
That is true. He's in the light world, so he's gonna jump down. He's gonna see, checkerboard game. He's gonna be like, "What's going on here?"
I do not actually believe Maya Shed is currently in the logic.
No, I think, it would probably be another one of those one-frame clips to try to do this as a bunny, right?
You could use blue YBA to fake flute to 7. There is a convenient pull there that revives you as Link, and then you can wander around as Link and then clip into the Mire area, but unfortunately the YBA itself is not in logic.
Right.
There's an alternative YBA with a red or green potion, which displaces your actual location in a weird way, and that lets you enter the Dark World portal near Maya without having mitts.
Tairr's like, wait, what is going on here?
Tairr has found the desert entrance in the Dark World. Oh yes, the mirror clip to the Mire area is not actually in the logic right now. Alright, I think this is the first time we actually see the back here. Ultyma opting to pick up the chest under the bridge first.
We got small key, so time to go face off against Moth.
I think we have both items. I think Moth has to have the map here. But he is clearing the dungeon because it is a crystal. It's honestly just a good choice. If you're here, why not do the boss itself?
Don't spin the tempered sword. That doesn't work.
The only thing about the butter glitch that happens with Mothula that has been patched is butter slashes. Tempered spins still do spike damage to Mothula, which is nothing. But despite that, it was a very efficient Mothula fight,
Well
claiming
done.
his 3rd crystal.
Yeah, the videos that Scudge made on these clips are incredible. Not only does he show you, there's a lot of videos out there that say, oh, here's how to clip into this, here's how to clip into this. What Scudge does is he goes into the details about what each clip does exactly and what the applications for each are. And so you can get a real sense of what you're actually doing.
The Super Scooch videos are amazing. It is a very good tutorial on how to get started in this mode. Alright, it looks like Ultyma's also falling into the same mistake that Tairr has committed to twice now, and he realizes he is in the light world indeed.
Yeah, you could, in theory, reach the top of Turtle Rock and use that portal. However, I don't believe you can actually activate the entrance. You'd have to clip into the middle.
That is correct. As soon as you take the top world portal on top of T-Rock, you will be a bunny, which means you cannot use medallions. Meanwhile, Tairr has done a mirror clip Death Mountain descent, which is a classic, and it does also get you into the mainland of Darkworld. Seems like he might be headed back to Skullwoods as well. Oh no, he is actually going to the Village of Outcasts, and Ultyma is headed back to Eastern to finish it off.
Oh, you know when Ultima came off of the pyramid in Link form? I would have been tempted to go open Palace of Darkness.
That would have been a fairly good decision if you want to complete the Seed Perlus. It's one of the big challenges of actually just the Perlus. How not to use an extra YBA just to open pod.
Yeah, the whole Palace of Darkness Kiki will not follow the bunny, is the thing.
Yep. Looks like Tairr also paid the big game guy 80 rupees to then mirror back to the light hole.
So I know this doesn't actually matter in Overworld Glitches mode, but I found out the other day that the bunny can actually both purchase and use the big bomb.
Yes, that is something that I do not believe matters, but I'm actually puzzled on that. It could be a thing in the logic with Aghanim.
Well, yeah, and you could use that to sort of open Hype Cave.
But the big bomb actually opens Hype Cave?
It sure does.
Today I learned.
And there's a NPC in there that the bunny can absolutely get an item from.
Which is one of the biggest trolls of Crossworld entrance randomizers. If that guy has your moon pearl. Looks like Tairr's doing a 0 HP setup here, but then why is he pulling the dam? He is down to half a heart. But for this, you need to actually go to the fairy drop or any other hole that can help you with that. I think he did the mirror glitch to enter as a super bunny, but then you cannot actually use items appropriately as a bunny.
You can slash a sword. You can use a mirror because the bunny can always use the mirror, and you can lift and talk to NPCs. But any other thing that Y item requires, you will not be able to do as a super bunny.
You can even dash, which is very dangerous because as soon as you bonk, you lose your super bunny state.
So Ultima goes ahead and digs up a big 20. Perhaps a dig 20, so to speak. Uh-oh, I think Ultima got himself stuck.
Yep, he's not getting off that ledge.
Not certain where Ultima was going there.
I do not believe there's anything left in the desert area. He does have the Cane of Burner, so he did pull the Bombo Stablet.
You can reach Checkerboard Cave with that clip. It would have been pretty easy. Unfortunately, no glove to get in.
I wonder if he's trying to get himself the YBA that actually allows you to... No, he isn't. that would have allowed him to enter the Dark World in the area. Now it looks like he is going back into Desert Palace, which, as we know, does not hold the Moonbow.
Yeah, so the Turtle Rock clip just involves mirroring near the ledge to Spiral Cave, right?
Yep, you leave the portal within reach so that you can stand on the edge just before you drop and re-enter the Dark World, and it won't bonk you.
Yeah, so you just act like you're about to drop down, but don't, and just stand there. And then when you go into the Dark World, you can just jump down.
That is correct. And that will land you on the ledge between the left side and the back entrance of Turtle Rock, and you can also just mirror back and check Mimic Cave, or enter the big chest or the left side laser entrance. No, actually, you can't enter the left side laser entrance, since in this mode, the wall is still there, so you get stuck, so you have to enter the big chest entrance.
Well, the wall is still there, but, like, you can die and then drop a bomb.
I think you're too far in the wall to actually take damage, but I could be wrong.
Maybe. I remember going in there and pulling that off. Oh, no, I think I was not a bunny at the time, so yeah, I think you're right.
I mean, you would be perfectly aligned with one of the lasers to actually kill you, but yeah, I think they would bonk off the wall. It looks like Ultyma's heading up to Zora. I do not believe he had enough money to check it when he did this area.
I think the so because of that, the Cane of Somaria is actually what grants them access to the general portion of Turtle Rock they can access, so that they can cross that gap in front of the big chest, right?
That is an interesting question, and here's why. You know the separator that's to the left of the big chest? If you stand right against the left side wall and then dash downwards and then hold left as you're bonking, you can actually bonk past that separator.
Right.
But
I'm not sure if it's in logic because, it's technically an underworld thing, right?
It's technically a minor glitch. You just never see it used in NMG modes because you have no reason to go backwards in Turtle Rock. Now, meanwhile, Tairr is actually doing or attempting to do the teleport that leads you to the top of Turtle Rock.
One half tile lower, isn't that right?
No, that actually could work. Now he needs to be 2 pixels lower. Unfortunately, if you don't press the 2 buttons at the same time, you might actually slide upwards, which ruins your positioning. He needs to actually perform a teleport here, so he needs to go much further in.
It's like a downward teleport onto the left ledge there, right? Oh, okay, well that works too.
That works too. If you can do a jump, that's just as good.
We see that the Quake medallion is required to get in the front entrance, but that's not particularly necessary at the moment. And Tairr is about to do that clip, it looks like.
But first, he might actually opt to go Super Bunny Cave. He is doing it from the front, which is the correct decision. You don't need to do the mirror bonk, though, to do that. He's also about to enter the shop.
That is true. Okay. He went in the other door. Tairr faking us out.
It's one of the most confusing doors in the entire game, right? Because in the light hole, you need to enter on the right side. In the dark hole, you need to enter on the left side. Meanwhile, Ultyma's going on an infinite scrolling adventure. Now that is a hard lock, and he has to immediately hard reset because there's no other way to get out of that.
Rip.
Alright, let's see if Tairr... I think he knows about it. He's headed to the correct spot. But he's looking at his menu right now.
Yeah, so what you want to do here is mirror approximately where the ledge down to Spiral Cave is. It's not like super precise.
And that is good. That is good.
That'll do it. All you gotta do is stand right here, wait for the portal to take you back, and then just jump down.
He has to decide which door to enter. Does enter the correct one. Seems like he's not opting to check Mimic Cave first, and he will now fall approximately 7 times to actually revive his Link.
And it looks like Ultyma is making the same play here, so we're gonna have ourselves a race on our hands again.
It is interesting how after 80 minutes we are now head-to-head in a race to enter T-Rock. Fortunately, Ultyma tries to open up T-Rock the normal way. I don't think he knows about it. He's been here before, he just noped out.
Alright, so we see Tairr heading into the back of... Oh, here he goes. Ultima's doing it.
Yep.
Oh, that might be a little too far left.
I think it was fine, but the spider definitely threw him off. Oh no, he's actually trying to do it in 2 stages, but you don't need to do this one in 2 stages. Alright, let's see what the big key chest of Turtle Rock has. It is the big key, so we still have 2 locations that could potentially have the pearl in here.
Yeah, potentially 3, right? So you've got that, you got the big chest, you've got the crystal roller chest, which you can access now that you have the big key. And
oh, yeah, right. And if we get a small key... Oh, Ultyma's actually... You were right. He is taking damage.
Die. So if you drop a bomb, you should be fine. It will blow up the wall, and you can walk right on through.
If Tairr gets a small key from the Chain Chomp chest, the front of Turtle Rock can actually have it. So this could go to any of those chests and not further, because the lamp, as we know, is in Ganon's Tower.
Small key, as you say.
It keeps leading you on. That mirror is coming in so handy right now for our races. No, well, I mean, obviously they wouldn't even be in here without it, but even in this dungeon right now, you need to check so many branching paths, which is a funny thing to say about Turtle Rock.
Another small key in the first chest there, which in this case was, I believe, about the 4th chest checked.
Yes, it was.
And now we'll see Tairr heading over to the Firelock section.
He unfortunately has to do the vanilla strat with no hookshot.
Yep. Nice awareness on his part to go ahead and head down instead of up. Ultima gonna have to be real careful not to take a death here.
Do Chain Chomps still do 2 damage on Red Melt?
I believe so. We've got a cape from Tairr.
That leaves us with the 1 room with the roller.
And we've also found the 4th small key.
I believe that was the third chest-bound Smoky, wasn't it? So there's still
You're right,
one-
there is one more. And
And
just
it's-
50 rupees.
Oh. Well, it looks like our Moon Pearl is actually in the Pyramid Fairy at this point.
Wow. And that's a complicated clip. It's about the only one I haven't learned yet, so... Ooh, boy.
It is made much easier by a flute, but basically what you have to do is just enter the Dark World, place a Dark World portal in the
that's
correct
right.
location.
We have not seen Mimic Cave yet.
Oh, that is right.
And that's just a mirror and another mirror away.
Also about to pick up his cape. So, as I was saying, it then involves you getting off of Death Mountain without saving and quitting, which can actually be accomplished by a Death Warp or by Death Mountain descending in the Night World.
Now, the cape is not required for Bumper Cave in Overworld Glitches, right?
Nope, you can just clip on top. The cape is only required in the fringe case of there being a progression item in Lumberjack, and you don't have a sword to cut the, or don't have a master sword to cut the barrier. Or, of course, if you logically need to do Laser Bridge.
All right, so Tairr checking Mimic Cave. It is green rupee. So Pyramid Fairy is the call.
It is now the only possible location, I believe. Ultyma is going to go ahead and go all the way to Laser Bridge. And since the rock is a crystal, he's probably going to also kill Trinex. But at this point, as indicated by the slashes, he probably knows that the pearl isn't here. One of the big differences between our races right now, even though both of them are very close to discovering the location of the pearl, is that Ultyma, with his Ganon's Tower dip, actually got so many items ahead. The moment he gets that pearl, he's actually going to be a hookshot away from go mode, I believe.
Very nice.
It's like he is going to take a health refill by dying and then visit our pal Trinex and claim his 5th crystal. Chat bringing up theories. Yes, it is theoretically possible for Pyramid Fairy to have both gloves and then Pearl to be an ice palace.
That sounds fun. Not
It
really.
does sound like something invented by chat.
Yeah. I was gonna say there's a way to clip into Ice Palace, but you do sorta need the Moon Pearl for that one.
You actually don't. You need to perform a mirror wrap. So, well, alright, you will have to do a 1-frame clip or do a YBA to actually gain link state in the area, and then do a mirror wrap to enter Ice Palace without a single glove.
Right.
But then, without a glove, you can only check 4 of the chests in Ice Palace, I believe.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the same as the hammerlock.
Very nice try next fight. Gets 5 rupees and a crystal for his troubles. Ultyma now stuck on the nose of the turtle, and he is in the fake Dark World. 2 mirrors could have gotten him out of it and left him able to enter the Dark World portal. But there's not much left to check in the area.
Clipping off of the or clipping with these cabbages coming down is just the worst.
It is very, very discouraging to do clips down there, indeed. Unfortunately, Tairr does not appear to be aware of the spin speed method of getting into Graveyard Ledge, or the consistent setup of it. If you don't actually know the consistent setup, you will land a lot of the times in a fail spot. There's, I believe, 2 of them, and they're very easy to get. Ooh, all right, here we go. Ultyma's actually going to do the Pyramid Fairy clip.
It looks like that's what he's doing.
And he is placing the portal low enough that he can exit the Pyramid Fairy and be in the Dark World on the pyramid.
Interesting.
It involves throwing a bush to delay your entry into the Dark World. We'll see if he does that. Now, he reset his camera by entering the Old Man Cave, the Old Man Cave being a multi-entrance cave, and now he has to descend Death Mountain. And all he has to do is...
This is just to keep your portal in the correct spot, right?
Yep, because if you would save and quit, it would be gone. Now, he has to walk into the Hyrule Castle courtyard and just pick it up.
It's a lot less complicated than I remember seeing.
Tairr taking another cabbage death, unfortunately. Alright, there's the portal, so all you have to do is pick up a bush, yep, and stand between those 2 trees, yep, throw it, and hold up as you're entering the Dark World. And I believe he is about to pick up the Moonpo.
There it is! Now, do you automatically get Super Bunny from doing that?
You, for some reason, for doing that entry into the Pyramid Fairy area, you will get Super Bunny.
Alright, good to know.
It's just one of those overworld glitch things where you say, of course it gives you Super Bunny.
Hey, is fake powder accounted for in the glitches?
No, because you can spend your mushroom prematurely.
Yeah, that makes sense.
To answer the question in chat, I believe we picked up the Mire on East Death Mountain, which is actually part of Sphere Zero in Overworld Glitches, so it was a simple step away from the starting state.
Yeah, so Pyramid Fairy was like Sphere 2.
Yep. And now we see Ultyma enter Palace of Darkness, and he will be doing no glitches in here. Other than possibly Hover the Gap, we've already seen him do it once. But why would he do that with bow? So as far as hard requirements right now go to complete the seed, Ultyma is one hookshot away from being able to clear every dungeon and then fight Ganon. Which would be a gloveless completion.
Yeah, and from what I can tell, that's not only possible from what we've got, but very much possible in logic as well.
Yep. At this point, it is in the logic to enter Ganon's tower, as he did. So, yeah, I think he wrapped up most of his sequence break except Hookshot.
Yeah, and despite the hovering being a minor glitch, that is not something that the logic requires.
No, never.
Because it just requires a certain level of dexterity that not everybody has.
It's one of those tricks where you not only have to be almost consistently frame perfect throughout the entire way, you're also time boxed. If you don't actually input the next frame perfect input, then you'll just fall.
Alright, so Ultyma is going to go check the big key chest in pod. We've got Compass.
Seems like the value, as usual, is in the back.
And yet another small key. So, time to head to the back, where we can check the Dark Maze and all of those wonderful, dark room locations. You would think that Palace of Darkness would have some darkness in it, and you're not wrong.
Fortunately for Ultyma, he can dispel most of it with the lamp he brought from GT.
There's our big key. And of course, Ultyma is playing like they're... Wait, is Ultyma just playing like they're in go mode? Because they still need the hookshot.
Has to realize it at this point that he'll probably not go too far in Swamp Palace. Maybe he's just gambling that Helmsaw will put him in go mode. He is one item away from it, so I can see why the play would be appealing.
I am a tree.
Tairr, unfortunately, getting himself stuck in a tree, very much possible when you're attempting to descend Death Mountain in the wrong spot. Recaro, I believe we had a bright side lamp and we had a small key available. So the lamp should not be a problem here, but the bow is. That is right. So Palace of Darkness actually, I believe, was bow locked. Which would mean that the hookshot is just not here.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Chat correcting me again. Ultyma picking up his 6th pistol. Now he is on his way to check some less appealing locations, or possibly maybe even make a play on Swamp.
Yeah, I mean, if the hookshot's in there, then he's golden. But still, it's a little weird that you'd skip out on the rest of the dark maze and things like that.
It has been pointed out that Bow has been found in a hookshot locked spot.
Oh, okay. Right.
Palace of Darkness.
All of the back is
locked.
bow locked. Right. I'm sorry. I'm dumb. For some reason, I thought like only part of the back was bow locked. I don't know what I was thinking.
It's like he's going to be finishing up his checks that he was interrupted in when he checked Hype Cave, Ghost Stumpy, and the digging game. Maybe even considering a clip into the Mire area to check the shed.
Alright, so we're gonna go see the digging game now. Now that we actually have that moon pearl and can start digging.
The good old 160 rupee digging game.
Oh, we got a glove!
We do have our first glove.
So, no gloveless clear today, but could still be a thing. We can always use that glove to get to certain locations, like the checkerboard cave.
Checkerboard Cave and Spike Cave, I believe, are glove locked. Here, depending on key placement, Hyrule Castle's backside would be one of them, but I believe we found a key in the front and cleared it.
So we're going to Mire's shed now with that wonderful Mire clip, which gives you a seizure-inducing Mire.
Sorry about the lack of warning. Yes, as long as Mire is closed the first time you clip into it, you will experience a glitchy rain, but it will fix itself as soon as you enter the underworld. And Mire's medallion, I believe, was Quake.
Yeah, it looks like it. And our silver arrows were in the shed.
Nice. That should make the Ganon fight a lot easier for him.
Oh, Tairr's trying to do a DMD off of this, and he actually wants to jump left, then jump right to get the fake flipper stuff, because you jump left to fix the camera, and then you jump right.
Yes, but I believe...
But you can't really fake flipper as a bunny anyway, right?
You have to jump into a transition as a bunny instead of 1 pixel away from the transition. You don't get that free movement as a bunny. It is possible. I'm not sure he's trying the correct spot though.
Wait, was that the hookshot in the cave? The checkerboard cave?
No, that was a big 20.
Oh. Well, then why is Ultyma going into swamp? Is he just looking for the hookshot there?
He might be making a play on the front of swamp, having the hookshot, and I actually like this.
Yeah, it's not a bad play.
If it's there, you are immediately in go mode. You can clear it, and I think he might be feeling a bit behind right now because of the pearl.
Yeah, little does he know that both runners were having some trouble with that Pyramid Fairy clip.
It is one of those things that has to bite you once before you really learn that it is possible for the pearl to be there. First chest only a heart container, so that leaves up to 4 more. But that would have one of the chests be the big key.
But I mean, we had, YOLO Bow in the Ganon Tower big chest. Why not have YOLO Hookshot in Swamp, right?
Other than the Moonpearl, Ultyma has been reading this scene really well. That Ganon Tower sequence break paid off handsomely.
And it's going to lead to a situation where, if you can clear Swamp here, you will basically immediately finish and go to the Pyramid and just win.
Right, because we did defeat Aga 2, so that means the Pyramid is open, and you just have to walk into it. In fact, even without the 7 crystals, you could use the fight in theory to locate the silver arrows, because Ganon will tell you, I think.
No,
or maybe
if you don't have 7 crystals, he'll just say, seriously, or what's wrong with you? You really got to get those things, or whatever.
Oh, my bad then.
Yeah, there is a clip to Peg Cave without mitts. Absolutely. You can clip off of the right side of the moat around the pyramid and just kind of swim over there. Now, if you want to do it reasonably, you're going to want to be, not a bunny. Though, I think there is actually a decent bunny setup for that.
I honestly don't know, but it's very low value. And then how do you plan to...
How do you plan to hammer down the pegs as a bunny, right?
Right. You could, in theory, mirror there and check the Batcave, but then there's an easier setup to get into the Batcave. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, Ultyma has entered Go mode with that hookshot in the left side of Swamp.
What kind of shenanigans we got going on here?
I was about to say it would be really bad for him to pick up mitts here, because that would now imply an Ice Palace dip. But that solves all his problems. He is now probably just going to go to Argus straight up. He didn't even get the right side chest.
Yep. Even though he just got the ability to shoot across the gap, no reason to do so. This is Go mode.
That chest could have been better for him.
Oh, looks like Tairr is trying to do the mirror jump setup to get the blacksmith there.
It is a very difficult trick, however, because the mirror jump is actually mirroring on the very last frame of you jumping off, which will cause you to actually be bonked back into the Dark World 1 frame off of where you left.
And I think to successfully do this on the blacksmith, you have to do this, what, twice?
I believe what Tairr is trying involves 5 consecutive mirror jumps.
5 consecutive mirror jumps. Goodness.
There
And
is
basically that's, I think it's like, what, 19 or 20 frames after you start the push that you have to mirror?
yes, it is 19 or 20. I don't remember exactly, but it is in that ballpark. Meanwhile, Ultyma defeating Argus and gaining his 7th crystal, so he should now just dip into the pyramid and fight Ganon. There are a few alternatives to what Tairr is doing. There is a way to carry a portal, essentially, that only involves a single mirror jump. If he had Flute, he could do a screen wrapping option, and you can actually pick up the Smith freely using a red or green YBA in the correct spot.
Interesting. I should really learn what to do with those YBAs because it sounds like it'd be useful, and if it's allowed in this category, pretty cool. Now that being said, I'm not in this tournament, so it doesn't actually matter.
The best
in case I want to do an Overworld glitch seed sometime.
The best use in general, if you manage to pick up a blue potion, would be just to flute. It actually allows you to flute in the Dark World, even though it costs you your blue potion.
So if you flute to 6 in the Dark World, does that put you in Mire?
It puts you in the fake light world, and as soon as you transition off that screen somehow, you get into Dark World, as you should with the fake world. All right. Ultyma beginning his Ganon fight, so that's 12 slashes in the first phase, 12 slashes in the second phase with his Tempered Sword, and it seems like he's already well into the second phase. Using Hookshot strats dodge the bats, gaining invulnerability while using it. Now we're in phase 3, just 4 slashes and then 4 silver hits in the 4th phase, and he should be done with this seed.
So even though we did pick up that glove, it turns out it was not useful at all.
It does turn out that this was a gloves optional seed, even with power gloves. Getting the torch glitch.
And there we go.
That 4th hit. Yep. Now all he has to do is enter without falling.
And that will do it for Ultyma, as Ultyma finishes with an official Speed Racing TV time of 1 hour 56 minutes and 23 seconds. And we note that exactly 8 seconds after that happened, Tairr decided to call it a day.
GG to both of our racers. We'll see if we can get them in here for an interview.
Mikalosa, Ultyma actually already beat Agatu after clipping into Ganon's tower.
Hello.
All right, so Tairr has joined us here in the chat. So that overall glitches, man.
What did I miss?
So turns out there is a way to clip into the pyramid fairy,
Oh, yeah, I know.
and that's where the moon pearl was.
Okay.
And once you got that, it was basically wide open. You could clip into Ganon's tower and get all the goodies from there.
Yep.
Hookshot was in swamp, which is just awful.
And the bow in the Ganon's tower big chest.
So yeah, a bit of a mess there. What can you do with this? It's pretty crazy. So it looks like you were trying to set up the mirror jump thing here for the blacksmith. Is that what you were doing?
Yeah, I was basically killing time on waiting.
Sounds like it. And I will go ahead and bring in Ultyma. And welcome, Ultyma. Congratulations on winning this.
Thank you.
What are your feelings on that moon pearl, Ultima?
That was the worst thing I've ever done. I did not know that the Pyramid Fairy was in logic via the bunny.
You seem to be doing alright. In fact, you found yourself in Ganon's tower before actually picking up that pearl.
Yeah, I figured since I had the hammer and I was able to hover that I would hope that the bow was in there to full clear it.
Yeah, and you got it the very last second in the big chest. That's impressive. So I'm told that getting into Ganon's tower like that as a bunny is a one-frame trick. Can you describe to us how that worked?
Yeah, basically you have to clip into the wall at a certain spot. It's just a ton easier not as a bunny because you can just hook dash and just kind of slide into the wall and then you just jump down and tap right and then you're in GT. But as a bunny you have to kind of finesse your way into the wall. And if as you saw, if you're 1 pixel to the right, you do this weird screen wrap flying off the screen. And if you're 1 pixel too high, then you just bounce out of the wall.
I actually wonder, would that trick not be doable by clipping on the spot with by leaving a dark world portal on the appropriate X pixel, no Y pixel, and then clipping into the correct X pixel?
It might be. I've never attempted it that way. I learned the moon pearl or the bunny clip via the no EG runs, so that's where I learned that.
I mean, obviously, your setup was impressive, very much like that. I actually thought you were going to the Pyramid Fairy at that point, but then nope, you were in GT somehow.
And then I failed that clip. Like, how many times did I fail that? That was a lot.
How about that? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
How about that hook shot?
That's the thing. Since I didn't have gloves, I'm like, well, if it's in swamp, I win. If it's not in swamp, I lose. So I just kind of took a gamble on it, and wow.
I mean, you did get the gloves right there at the end, but they turned out to not really be important.
Yeah, and there was a lot of the overworld and the dark world open at that point now too, because there was like Thieves' Town, the Bombable Hut, Bumper Cave, all that kind of stuff. King's Tomb, like there were so many things opened up with Moon Pearl. I wanted to just gamble on swamp and hope it was there.
Can you talk to us about your decision to peace out of Palace of Darkness as soon as you got the big key?
I figured that I actually thought that I was in go mode at that point. I wasn't paying attention to what crystals I had left, and I forgot you needed Hookshot for swamp. So if you watch my stream, you'll see me click my go mode thing and then realize, oh, I'm not actually in go mode.
Interestingly, I think it was the correct decision regardless. What was in the bottom left chest of Palace Darkness?
The bottom. Which one?
The very
The
first
one,
chest.
the one that decides whether or not it's bow locked.
Oh, it was a key.
Oh, it was a key. All right.
Yeah.
I thought it wasn't, and that's why I said it was correct, because you found the bow behind the hookshot, so in theory it couldn't have been there, but okay, turns out you just made the right decision.
I was doing so bad at everything else, I figured I might as well just take a gamble on it, and it actually worked for a change.
Yep. So no flute for us today. That was pretty much almost a given because the flute doesn't really lock anything in Overworld glitches.
It's a little more than a meme that you never activate unless you find it really early.
Seems legit. So, anything else you guys would like to say about this particular seed before we wrap things up here today?
I think it needs to be deleted from the database.
That sounds like a pretty solid plan.
We thank you for running this one so we won't have to.
All right, so thank you all so much for watching. I want to thank Tairr and Ultyma for putting on this show today. This display of Overworld glitches prowess. Lots of clips, lots of crazy interactions going on, and lots of interesting things to see in Overworld glitches mode. And I hope everybody follows this tournament because it's going to be pretty hype. So with that, I also want to thank our tracker, who is Reg, for keeping up with the items here today, and of course my co-commentator Baliame. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Bob, for having me on co-commentary. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, no problem, and we will have ourselves a nice tournament coming up. I hope to see you all there for more of the matches as we continue. Thank you all once again for watching, and congratulations to Ultyma once again for winning this race. It looks like Tairr's about to pull off the clip there for Blacksmith.
Oh yes, he is. I think he has it. I think he just needs to walk in it. Oh no, he still needs to put it upwards. Yes, there's more mirror jumps involved. Alright, I'll stop.
Alright, anyway, thank you all once again for watching, and there we go, he's got it. And we'll see you all later. I will just say that I've been Dr. Bobtastic.
And I have been Baliame.
And we'll see you later.